Have made it through another week from Blue Monday all the way to thank God it's Friday. And now you get to celebrate by hanging out with me and everybody else. We are on Rumble, we are on Twitter, and we are on that quaint little alternative social media site known as YouTube. So please do me some favors as always. Number one, if you are not subscribed to my channel, go ahead and give me a sub. And also, you folks out there on YouTube, be checking your subscriptions. YouTube's been playing some games with me again, so want to make sure you guys are always well aware when anything is going on. Also, hit the thumbs up. Leave some comments in chat. Share the link around. Oh, it's going to be a fun morning. I got a bunch of stuff lined up for you guys. A whole bunch of stuff lined up for you guys. Anyway, we're going to get down to it here momentarily. Again, my name is Brian Trippett. I am the Front Porch Conservative, sometimes known as the common man with common sense. On occasion, I'm referred to as the beau in the chapeau. But I am, above all things, your host. Again, we are on Rumble, we are on Twitter, and we are on YouTube. So please, share the link around. Go ahead and hit the thumbs up. Leave a comment in chat. But more importantly, if you are not subscribed to my channel, please go ahead and do so. Would love to have you both on YouTube and on Rumble. So we're growing this little thing into something big, and hopefully someday it's going to become something huge, we say. Anyway, we're glad to have you here this Saturday morning. It's a little bit rainy outside, but in my heart, it's sunshine and rainbows. Nothing but love for all of you. So glad you guys are here and cannot wait to get into everything that we call this show. All right, let's see who is here. WWG1 says, happy Saturday, y'all, over on Rumble. Good morning, WWG1. Z Highness is here. Oh, yes, it is the weekend, baby. Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo! Who else have we got here? TBA. My brunch is getting cold. Well, I'm sorry. Sometimes I got things I got to do before I hit the live button. I tell you what, geez. Man, we're not drowned yet. But, okay. We have needed rain in my area, much like a lot of places in the country. But, okay, I'm ready for, according to weather reports, after Monday, we're going to have about 10 days of dry weather, and I am so ready for it, okay? But in all seriousness, there were a lot of people in my area really badly affected by the weather. Now, quite obviously, not like Florida or Georgia or the Carolinas. I mean, our thoughts and prayers are with everybody down in that area because, man, I've seen some of the reports, I've seen the videos, and it's just mind-boggling, absolutely mind-boggling what's going on down there. So thoughts and prayers to everybody, but no, we're rained on here, but otherwise we're fine. WWG1 says it was a grass fire danger. Yeah, it was. It was that dry. Man, my brother-in-law, who is an avid hunter, was like, I don't even know if we're going to have deer season in West Virginia this year because it was so daggone dry. TBA says Unicoi, Tennessee, and Lake Lure, North Carolina, both hit bad with dam collapses. Yeah, dam collapses, bridges being taken out. Literally, I saw a video. This bridge was already underwater, and the force of the water was so strong, it knocked the bridge completely out. You watched it in real time. It was extraordinary. All right, let's see who's over here on the YouTube side. Let's see. Good morning, Gypsy. Mwah. Robert's in the house. Morning, my dear. Yep, we're going to have a great Saturday. The 199, she says with gusto. Let's see, who else is here? YouTube is gay. You ain't kidding. YouTube is seriously gay. And thank you for this. I appreciate that. I really do. Let's see. So rain started in the early AM hours yesterday, and it's still we've got a little just steady rain right now. Still just a little steady rain, but definitely not like the folks that I saw. Man, some of those videos were just daggone frightening. Just absolutely frightening. TBA says I-40 East between Asheville, North Carolina, and Knoxville, Tennessee is out. Completely washed out. I'm not surprised. I am absolutely not surprised. Boone, North Carolina, the home of Appalachian State University, completely underwater. Completely. I saw videos coming out of Florida where alligators were swimming in the streets. No, I'm not kidding about this. It's alligators rapidly swimming in the streets. Yeah. TBA says, wonder what 60 billion could have done here in the States had we not sent to Ukraine. Oh, yeah. We'll get into a little bit of that. Oh, goodness. Yeah, but I'm glad I hope all of you all are safe wherever you may be out there in the fruited plain. And, I know that everybody in their own way is going to try and help our brothers and sisters, all around the country. But thoughts and prayers to everybody right now, especially those down in Florida, Georgia, the Carolinas. It's just, and Tennessee, man, Helene was a monster, just an absolute monster. All right, let us get into some, I'll give you a preview. You see that string of tabs right up there, folks? That's all for you. I've been up this morning trying to line up a whole bunch of stuff. And you can tell by that first picture, the very first subject I'm going to get into. You guys have heard me say the word legend or even the word giant is often misused. But yesterday we lost probably one of the most talented actresses of the latter part of the 20th century and the first part of the 21st century. And if you guys did not hear about this, and this one kind of hits hard for a lot of different generations of moviegoers. I mean, most people remember her as Minerva McGonagall from the Harry Potter films. Some people remember her from Downton Abbey, a two-time Academy Award winner in her own right. The legendary Dame Maggie Smith passed away at the age of 89. And we're going to play, this clip runs about a minute and a half, and I think NBC did an absolutely fantastic job of putting this thing together and to give you an idea of the scope of her career. And I'll tell you what, it's kind of funny this morning because I went back. Well, I didn't really, they kind of wound up in my feed. A couple of clips from her when she made some appearances on the Carol Burnett show. And watching the two of them work together was an absolute joy. Oh, TBA, you didn't know? Oh, dude, I am so sorry. My apologies. I thought you were aware. Yeah, she passed away yesterday. Yeah, age 89. Emmy Award winner, Tony Award winner, Academy Award winner 2 times. I mean, if it had been a Grammy, she'd have had the EGOT, which is, absolutely, she will be missed. But like I say, I think NBC does a wonderful job with this little minute and a half clip. So I'm going to go ahead and play it. And, oh, yes, I was thinking this very same thing. The first time I ever saw Maggie Smith, like her, it was Clash of the Titans, which starred a very young Harry Hamlin, Sir Laurence Olivier, Burgess Meredith, a whole bunch of people. And Dame Maggie Smith played the role of Hera, the mother of Calabas. And just, even in that film, you could just tell, man, she was just amazing. Not a lot of screen time per se, but just she really knew how to do her thing. And with that, a tribute to the passing of the legendary Dame Maggie Smith.
Call your name. You will come forth. I shall place the sorting hat on your head.
Maggie Smith, one of the world's most revered actors, a star on stage, screen, and film. Smith burst onto the scene in the 1950s, winning her first Academy Award for her dramatic role in the prime of Miss Jean Brodie in 1970.
I am a teacher first, last, always.
Her comedic role as an Academy Award loser,
I need another drink. The last one wore off in the lift.
Won her another Oscar.
I just really can't believe it. We're ready for you now. Follow me.
Smith was arguably most known for 2 roles later in her career.
Mr. Weasley.
Professor Minerva McGonagall at the magical school Hogwarts in the Harry Potter movies.
That was bloody brilliant.
And as the Dowager, the Countess of Grantham in Downton Abbey.
What is a weekend? My age, one must ration one's excitement.
Smith, mother to 2 sons, was gracious and humble around fame, with countless awards and recognition over more than 6 decades. But perhaps the most meaningful of all, damehood, an honor given to her by the late Queen Elizabeth. Dame Maggie Smith, at 89 years old, remembered by legions of fans. Megan Fitzgerald, NBC News, London.
Gone before her time. Like I say, we often overuse the word legend or giant. In Maggie Smith's case, you can't use it enough. And
the mayor of America's largest city, Eric Adams, appeared before.
Stop it. Lester, when I want you to speak, I'll let you know. Just hush. These uppity anchors at these networks, you give them a camera and they think, you'd never heard of her before. Okay, well, let me ask you this. Have you ever watched the Harry Potter films? If you did, she played the role of Professor McGonagall. So just saying. And then, like I said, a lot of people know her from the Harry Potter films or from Downton Abbey. But like I said, that woman's career stretches back decades. And, okay. All right. Fair enough. Seabass. Fair enough. But yeah, she was just extraordinarily talented. A great comedic actress, by the way. But yeah, she, to a lot of people, a lot of folks, she will be missed. Absolutely. All right. Let us shift gears and we will get into the Merry Memes section of the show. Got a whole bunch of stuff lined up this morning by the way of memes. As y'all know, I think memes are highly informational. I think they're worthy of discussion, or at least at a minimum, a good chuckle, depending upon your sense of humor. Now, this first one is not necessarily a funny one, but I think I'm going to adopt this as one of the themes of this live stream and maybe my channel in general. And interestingly enough, it comes from an individual who, on most things, we probably would not have agreed with each other, but I wholeheartedly concur with his opinion here. The cure for a fallacious argument is a better argument, not the suppression of ideas. And my response to that is amen. This is one of the things that drives me absolutely crazy. This right here is what drives me absolutely crazy about the present times in which I find myself. It's not an issue that folks who disagree with me want to give a better argument as to why I'm wrong. It's they would rather just try and shut me down. Or you, or anybody else for that matter. If they don't agree with them, they don't like, oh, okay, well, that's an interesting idea. Maybe I need to go back and reevaluate. Or, well, no, you're wrong, and here's why you're wrong. No, they're just going to try and shut you down. Yeah, well, Robert, do you care if I share the story that you told me on Twitter? If you don't want me to, that's perfectly fine. I don't care, but I mean, I think it would be very apropos to this situation. But if you don't, that's cool. But yeah, absolutely. Make a better argument. Oh, okay, cool. All right. Thank you, sir. I'm going to show you. Let me pop this up on screen real quick. Oh, I absolutely agree. Carl Sagan, probably in life probably was a jerk. But on that point, he wasn't necessarily wrong. So let me pop this up here real fast. Give me a moment. Robert shared something with me on Twitter that was happening with him. And I was like, yep, I get it. I do. Oh, yeah, here it is. This is how Twitter deboosts those it deems undesirable by mostly non-subscribers. I replied within 5 minutes of Laura Logan's post. My visibility was removed at 233 views. It doesn't show up in her replies anymore. So Laura Logan's like, according to an informant in New Mexico, Trump's plane is the next target for an assassination. 9 heat-seeking surface-to-air missiles have been smuggled into the U.S. And Robert replies, the Afghan arsenal? Either way, it sounds like a cover story for an inside job. And after about 233 views, gone. Gypsy. And you know what the worst part about it is? Or at least one of the ironies of it. I have a low grade subscription to something called vidIQ. It kind of helps measure analytics and stuff like that outside of YouTube. Well, when you hit certain milestones, they'll send you an email congratulating you. So recently I had That Tug Life on the channel, and it was a great interview. I think we both had a real good time. I think the audience had a real good time. And all of a sudden, my subscriber count shoots up above 950. So vidIQ sends me an email saying, congratulations, you're above 950 subscribers. And no sooner did vidIQ send me the email, about a day or so later, drop back down below 950. It's like, I don't know, man. I don't get it. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying I'm the best live streamer that there is out there on the internet, but it's like, dang. It's like, really? This is why I tell people, check your subscription. Make sure you're still subbed, Anyway, but yeah, Robert's got a perfectly valid situation right here. Laura Logan, makes a post. He replies to it after about not even 250 replies or whatever. Not even 250 views. Gone. Can't find it. Let's see. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, WWG1, I just saw what you posted over on Rumble. If it's what I think it is, yeah, I'll slip that in. If I'm pretty sure I know what that link is without even opening it up. Yeah, we'll play it. Don't worry. Of course, I could be taking my internet life into my own hands here, but we'll see what happens. Anyway, you get my point. All right, let's move on to some other memes that I managed to put together for the morning. Now, this one, I think, is pretty much indicative of all of us at one time or another. When we tell people that, that certain things are going to happen in a certain way, how should we react? Well, I think this lady is onto something here. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, that's what you call being cool, calm, and collected. So there you go. There you go. Yeah, and I love the little cigarette holder thing. That's kind of cool. So, of course, I'm not sure that's a regular kind of cigarette. I'm not saying, but I'm just saying. All right, what else do we have in the way of the merry memes? Oh, we have a Diddy update. I forgot to tell you guys, we have a Diddy update. As I have reported, yeah, a giant roach clip. No kidding. That's a big old roach clip. As I reported and have been reporting for the past few days now, even though Sean Diddy Combs is currently locked up inside of a jail cell in New York City, he is still working to try to better himself, post whatever happens to him. He's got, through his lawyers, he's trying to line up business deals, endorsements, and as always, he's pitching ideas for songs, albums, and even movie possibilities. And it seems that he's come upon an idea for at least 2 different films. And he's got some people working, according to reports, he's got some people working on some scripts. One of them is a remake of an absolute cinematic classic. Now, I don't know, though. I don't know, guys. I don't know how this one's going to go over. It's a little, I don't know. Is it too soon? I ask you guys. I mean, seriously. I don't know. I don't know what to think of it. Did not know what to think of it. So there you go. So he's got that one in the works. And then he's got, so TBA said, nah, not working for me. Well, okay. I could, you know what, TBA? As a well-respected member of the Electronic Front Porch and a Fedora Nation, and as one of the founding members of the Wingnuts, I totally understand where you're coming from, and I respect your point of view. So I can understand why it's not working for you, brother. Seriously. All right. Now he's also got another idea, and this one is a movie script that is sports related. But again, I'm not so sure if the working title is going to be something that appeals to a lot of people, you know. I don't know, guys. Again, I don't know. But I'll give him credit. I will give him credit. I mean, it's a New York City based story. So, you know, I can kind of understand where that might, but I don't know. The working title, again, much like the other one, that working title might be not, I don't know if it's going to work out or not. Now, TBA says that one's got legs. Well, okay. All right. Okay. Well, you know, TBA is, WWG was like Lou Gehrig disease. Oh God, we're going right to the gutter with this, aren't we? Right to the gutter. You guys are awful. Well, I should say the wingnuts are absolutely, they're wide awake this morning. That's what you can say about that. Oh goodness. Yeah, like I say, Diddy is still working to try and make his life better, but I don't know how this is going to work out exactly. So we'll see. Now, lest you think that all we are on this channel is politics and economics and stuff like that, never let it be said we didn't try to bring you news about what's going on in culture. And this Diddy thing, you know, is having some shocking reverberations. I mean, as y'all may be aware, in the past few months, Jennifer Lopez and Ben Affleck are separated, I guess, on their way to divorce if they're not divorced already. And there's been a lot of speculation as to why J-Lo and Ben are no longer a thing. Well, apparently, spies on behalf of the electronic front porch have come back with an answer to this. And I think this is going to shock you guys when you find out why it was these two wound up divorcing. Apparently, Ben whispered something in her ear that was so disturbing, it just completely and absolutely pissed her off. I mean, look at that face. Look at this. My God, this is a very angry Latina lady. Woo! Oh my word. If I'd have been Ben that night, I don't know that I'd have gone home with that look on her face. No. That's just, son, that's the look of a woman that you just don't even try to go to bed with her. Just get the blanket, get the pillow, head for the couch. If she's even going to let you sleep on the couch. I mean, the look on that woman's face, she might not even let you in the house or on the grounds. That's how bad you pissed her off. So, Now, Robert. Well, now wait a minute. This is interesting. Robert said, yeah, that's when you sleep with one eye open, because that bitch would shank you. She would absolutely put a shank into you, man. Now, Robert says that P. Diddy is working on some new album ideas, and apparently he's got one of the tracks already named Pox. Well, I mean, it might work out for him, man. It might work out for him. Yeah, Ben's not careful, he might get bobatized. Jeez. Woo. WWG1 says, Shank, what is your history, Brian? Look, I'm just trying to use the terminology that I hear from the kids these days, okay? I'm just saying. TBA says, F the blanket and the pillow on the couch, head for the hills. You know, TBA, that's probably an even better idea for what Ben Affleck ought to do. I mean, like I said, look at this. Look at the look on her face after he delivers this message. Would you go home knowing this woman looks this pissed off? Just saying. Oh my, indeed. Poor Ben. Now, also, in an effort to try to continue to expand cultural understanding and linguistic depth. We here on the Electronic Front Porch are always trying to find out why and how certain words are used in certain cultures. For example, we had a discussion the other day here, and we found out that the word namaste, which in the practice of yoga means the teacher in me honors the teacher in you, in Florida is used in a completely different way. Well, apparently in Mexican culture, the word Budweiser is much the same way. When you use the word Budweiser, it could mean the following, or at least this is how it's used. They say she is a woman. Budweiser panties look like they have a burrito in them. You know, like I say, never, ever, ever let it be said that we here on the Electronic Front Porch are not about expanding your base of knowledge and your cultural understanding of how certain words are used in certain languages and with certain people. You know, but why? So we here in America, we hear the word Budweiser, we think beer. In Mexico, it could be part of a question. Just saying. So there you go with that one. Oh, what else have we got here? What else have we got? Oh, okay. You know, say what you want to about supporters of former President Donald Trump, but they are nothing if not creative and sometimes a little bit crazy in their creativity. As Hurricane Eileen was bearing down on the coast of Florida, it was not unusual to find certain wags out there doing things that make you wonder, are these screws all the way tightened in the way they should be? With that, we've got a little something here by way of video. Now, you got to, like I said, you got to give Trump supporters credit for creativity, if not crazy. Check this out.
That's hilarious. What?
Look at that.
That's hilarious. What?
One more time.
That's hilarious.
You gotta love them. You gotta love them. You absolutely gotta love them. All right, hang on a minute. I'm gonna... WWG1 sent me something, and if it's what I think it is, this is going to be absolutely hilarious. Not necessarily a meme, but definitely a video, and let me get my keyboard turned around here. There we go. Oh, yes. This is exactly what I thought it is. Folks, you got to give meteorologists at local TV stations a lot of credit because sometimes their job is very mundane. And even it can almost be considered boring in terms of regular weather reporting. But this one gentleman, in light of Helene coming into his area, found a way to definitely spice things up. And with that, we give you the following.
Hurricane Helene is set to make landfall tonight in Florida and the Tampa area. And guys, it's not looking good. 105-mile-per-hour winds. And look at the name of the hurricane, Helene. Coincidentally, that's my ex-wife's name. Our divorce was finalized this week, and if this thing is anything like her, it's going to take your car, it's going to take your house, it's going to ruin your damn life, all right? Probably both the neighbors too, but I digress. But anyway, guys, I'm sorry to put my air out on the air, but it's been a rough week. And guess what? If you're in this area right here, the Tampa area, you're going to have a rough week as well, okay? And by the way, another coincidence, her mom and dad, Helene's mom and dad are from Tampa. So, hey, John, Marge, you're going to feel it too. You're going to feel the wrath of Helene like I have for the past 4 years. It's going to be aggressive. And you know what? Maybe, just maybe, if we're lucky, this thing is going to catch some of the illegals that the Biden-Harris administration let in and fling these Mexicans back into Mexico, right? You want to talk about deportation? That'd be the best way to do it. And look at this. Guys, this is not good, all right? Tampa, why the hell are you living in Tampa anyway? Let's be honest. Who wakes up and goes, you know, honey, let's move to Tampa? Helene's mom and dad, that's who. And it's coming, guys. So this thing's going to be aggressive. By the way, I've never even seen purple before. Have we ever seen purple on the show? This is not good. And what the hell is that? This can't be good. You know what that looks like? That right there? That looks like Satan's butthole. And there he is. And if you live there, you're going to feel the wrath, just like how I felt the wrath of Helene. So Robert, Mark, thank you. you guys so much for raising a daughter that ruined my life. If you're in Tampa, get the hell out. I'm done.
Ladies and gentlemen, why do I have a strange feeling that that gentleman had a conversation with the station general manager after that broadcast? I could be wrong, but I don't think I am. Yeah, that may have been his last day on the job. Whoo! I mean, I don't know if you could do it, but if I were his ex-wife's lawyer, I'd be seeing about taking him back into court for something, man, because that's just wow. Oh, okay. This is the guy from Unusual Suspects. All right, I had never heard of him before. I'd seen this thing floating around. I hadn't listened to it until this morning, but that was absolutely hysterical. Oh man, WWG1 hat tip. That was good. Yeah, well, could be. Yeah, could be. But yeah, props. Absolutely. Oh, goodness me. Goodness. All right. What else have we got here by the way of the merry memes? We've got one that falls under stupid pet tricks. Although, given who's training the animal and what they're training them to do, I'm not so sure that this was stupid. But I will give them credit. They trained their animal well. I found this earlier today. A parrot that was trained by drug dealers to alert them of police presence and is refusing to speak after being detained. And the reason for that, he's a parrot, not a rat. That's pretty good, man. I ain't gonna lie. I mean, when you can train a bird so like a parrot so well that when the cops get around, that it lets everybody know, but when the cops detain the bird doesn't say anything. There you go. Well, not only is this parrot not a rat, he's definitely not a stool pigeon. I'm here all week, folks. Try the veal. There you go. Oh goodness. TBA over on Rumble talking about that last thing we showed. She took everything, including my damn life. All she left me was my bones. Doc McCoy, Star Trek, on why he got into the Federation Academy. Maybe that speech with the weather report serves as the impetus for why this guy goes on to bigger and better things. Just saying. WWG1 says P. Diddy doesn't have any parrots. Everyone is going to talk. You know, see, that's one of the fascinating things. And Jessica, aka Forest Mommy, and Tracy from Gen X Marks the Spot, we got into this discussion the other night. And that's the thing that I'm going to be fascinated to see. Is anybody going to rat on Diddy? Because, I mean, let's be honest. If this stuff's been going on for as long as he's accused of it, and he's done as much damage as he has, is anybody going to rat on this guy? Or are they blackmailed so well, or they're so lawyered up, or they're so moneyed up, they're not going to risk it? I don't know. It's going to be, to me, it's going to be one of the fascinating things out of this whole Sean Puff Diddy Combs thing to keep an eye on. Now, this next one is not necessarily a meme, but I found it this morning and I thought it was really cute. And I thought I'd share it with you guys. There is no doubt of the love that pets have to their owners, particularly cats, and even more particular than that, dogs. And I found this video this morning and I thought, man, this is just too good not to share. This is a video that shows the reaction of a dog that was reunited with its owner after a long period of separation. And I'm not sure what the circumstances were behind it, but man, if you really want to see just genuine love for a dog to its master or mistress in this case, man, I think you're going to get a kick out of this. I don't know if it's going to bring any tears to your eyes, but it definitely ought to put a smile on your face. And with that, here you go. You got to cut the sound out because of the music in the background. Sorry about that, folks. But look at this. That dog is just, like I said, I have no idea how long they were separated, but that dog is absolutely going wild, having seen its owner again. That's pretty cool. That's pretty daggone cool. Anyway, no, I'm not trying to make you cry. I found it. I thought y'all would enjoy it. You know, it's a little something different. As a little something different in the Merry Meme section. But like I say, hope y'all do enjoy it. All right, what do we got here? All right, we're getting on the back quarter of the list of things I have for the Merry Meme section. And, you know, everybody is saying something about this particular presidential election that's coming up. I mean, everybody. You've got pollsters, you got pundits, you got everybody is getting in front of a camera or a reporter and they're saying something. What? Hell, even the dead are speaking with regard to their opinions about this election. And we have heard from the legendary Jackie Gleason. And I'll just leave that right there. So apparently we all know where Jackie Gleason stands on this election, so it takes one dumb sumbitch to want 4 more years of this shit. Well, so Jackie Gleason has weighed in on the presidential election, ladies and gentlemen. There you go. I'm telling you, everybody is saying something about this year's election. Woo! Incredible. Now, this one falls under, you know what? Oh, well, I do need to say something to set this up. Unfortunately, and I say unfortunately because you all know my opinions about giving aid to Ukraine. Apparently, during his most recent visit, which is currently, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky managed to secure another $8 billion. $8 billion while we have a hurricane going on that's destroying bridges and roads and houses and lives. He managed to secure $8 billion for the war effort in Ukraine against Russia. And we have a picture. Of Joe Biden preparing the U.S. Treasury to hand over the money. Yeah, I'm just going to leave this right here. That's exactly what it looks like. It's like when your dad's getting ready to hand you your weekly allowance. I don't know who came up with this meme, but they're not wrong. They are absolutely not wrong. So, yep, that's what it looks like when your dad's getting ready to hand you the allowance. Or the billion, or 2, or 8, as it turns out. Oy vey. Well, as you all know, the United Nations had their opening ceremonies that started, I guess, last week. And as is the custom with the United Nations, world leaders, stand in front of that august body and they give a state of either their nation or their philosophy of the world. Well, a leader from Haiti by the name of Edgar Leblanc-Fils is now making the rounds for his rather, I don't know if strange is the right word to describe his speech at the United Nations, but it's remembered for one thing, a very unusual thing, actually. I mean, look, you guys know that I drink water, quite regularly when I'm up here doing the live stream. And for my part, I keep this as the refill. But apparently at the United Nations, they keep a glass pitcher. Well, Gills has been making some notoriety for himself, and none of it good, by the way, for the fact he didn't reach for the glass, he reached for the glass pitcher. But now we think we understand why it was that he did go for the pitcher as opposed to the glass. And, with that, I think when you see this, you're going to understand why. So let's do this in slow-mo. Well, maybe not slow-mo, but I think when we slow this down just enough, you're going to understand why he did what he did. Let me see. Yeah, let's deal playback speed. Yeah, let's slow this down just a little bit. Okay. Check out, and like I say, look very carefully because I think you will understand why it is he went reaching for the pitcher as opposed to the glass. Okay, so there he goes. And, oh my goodness! Oh, wait a minute. How did that? I don't know. Oh my God. Man, I'll tell you what, that's just wrong. And, okay, at least he wipes his mouth. Thank God for that. Folks, my Lord, that is wrong in so many different ways. Yeah, Robert, I wholeheartedly concur with you, my friend. I wholeheartedly concur with you. TBA says he's not sharing that pushy with anyone. Oh my God. TBA, you're awful. Just awful. Yeah, disavow. I disavow. Absolutely, I disavow TBA. So, yeah, maybe that starts to explain what happened. Goodness me. The crazy things that go on at the United Nations. Now, y'all have no doubt heard the expression, out of the mouth of babes. I don't know if you got, and I've got another clip of it later on here in the live stream, but I don't know if you guys saw that that report that CNN had about the attitudes of children as it relates to other kids, as it relates all of them to politics. Well, during that segment that CNN put together, they, asked various children their thoughts about certain things. And this one falls under the category of out of the mouth of babes. So with that, enjoy.
It'd be good for us to have a black woman as president for the first time in history.
Yeah.
But my vote's kind of still on Trump.
Needless to say, I don't think the reporter was quite expecting that reaction. And you listen to her, it'd be really neat if we had a black woman first time as president. You can hear the reporter going, yeah, but I'm sticking with Trump. You gotta love them. WWG says, didn't one of those children in that segment call Kamala one dumb bitch? Now, if that was the case, I didn't see it. And I'm serious. If that happened, I didn't see it. I have not seen that one. Yes, that child has some very good parents. I agree wholeheartedly. Oh, you're projecting? Oh, well, okay. Well, yeah, crickets. Nobody said a word. That was too cute. Too cute. Okay. Now, this is one of those era. I mean, this election, I guess, is probably the better way to say it, not necessarily an era. This election has produced all kinds of crazy trends and all kinds of culture-breaking sort of new things. I mean, for example, when Donald Trump is at the debate with Kamala Harris, he makes that now famous statement, they're eating the dogs, they're eating the cats, and out of it spawns, songs, dance moves, etc. Eat the cat, eat the cat. Well, apparently, after yesterday and Kamala Harris's visit to Arizona, there's now a new dance craze that's sweeping the nation, but they don't quite know what to call it yet. Now, if you guys have got any ideas on what to name this, let me know. But here's Kamala showing off the dance moves. You know, I give her credit for a 59-year-old lady. She moves pretty good. You know, like I say, I will take recommendations on what to name that dance move. But you know, if you guys got any ideas, she dances like a Hindu. Well, I've never seen a Hindu dance, so I don't quite know how that works. But I'll take your word for it, Seabass. So yeah, if you guys have any suggestions on what, okay, Robert has in his with his brain as good as it is, and with his quick wit, he has come up with a name for this dance move. He's calling it the the drunken stupor. You know, Robert, you really might be onto something here, brother. I'm just saying. Seabass says call it call it Shiva the Destroyer. Okay. Could be. But anyway. And one last meme, and then we'll get into our stories for the morning. Oh, okay. Here's another name for it. Elect me, and I'll continue to F you over. Well, you know, it's funny, dear. The last meme I've got kind of leads into that. And this one is really, really good. Now, as y'all know, Kamala Harris was in Arizona yesterday. And she paid a visit to the Border Patrol agents and actually the border wall. And, you know, as we're always trying to find out information to present to you, our audience, we do have a snippet of the conversation that took place between Kamala Harris and a couple of border agents. Now, you couldn't really, obviously, given the distance they were from the TV cameras, you couldn't necessarily hear what was said. But apparently with some lip reading efforts on the part of, you know, the Porch's spies, we were able to decipher exactly what was said. And I don't know about you guys, but I don't know how well this conversation is going to turn out, because it's starting out what may be pretty rough. I'm just saying. Oh, you're saying it's bad lip reading? Oh, okay. Well, maybe you're right. Maybe it is bad lip reading after all. But there you go. Now, going back to recommendations for what to call Kamala's new dance that she's invented, TBA says the Kali Durga Ditty also says well, it's not necessarily original, but she could have been doing the hustle. Well, she's hustling a lot these days, let me tell you. Oh, how she's hustling. Ooh. Goodness me. All right. Yeah, WWG1, hard to read her lips when her tongue is... Oh, my God! We're not even going any further with that one. My word. Okay. And with that, we are finished with the Merry Memes section of the morning. So I thank you for your indulgence in traveling along the path with me on that one. So there you go. All right. Let us get into our first story of the morning. And as I had mentioned a moment ago, Kamala Harris, in her efforts to be elected president of the United States, made a visit to Arizona yesterday. Now, I am not normally in the habit of giving advice to either my direct political opponent or the person that I am more than likely going to vote against. And don't worry, I have not an ounce of intention of voting for Kamala Harris for so many different reasons. But as a general rule of thumb, I don't go giving a political opponent or a politician I don't like advice. Donald Trump, however, apparently is not inclined to do that. Apparently, out of a spirit of magnanimity, he gave Kamala a piece of advice before she went down to Arizona yesterday. And the advice went something like this. Kamala should immediately cancel her news conference because it was just revealed that 13,000 convicted murderers entered our country during her 3.5 years as border czar. Also currently in our country, because of her, are 15,811 migrants convicted of rape and sexual assault. Quote, we handed this administration the most secure border of our lifetime Tom Homan, former ICE director. Now, you might read that and say, well, now, isn't Trump being just a little bit over the top there? I mean, we're talking 30, what is that, almost 30,000 criminals, 13,000 murders, 15,000 illegal immigrants convicted of rape or some other kind of sexual charge. Isn't Trump being a little bit over the top here? Oh, no, my friends. He's not being over the top at all. And when you see what he bases that on, you might begin to understand why it is he's telling Kamala, if I were you, I wouldn't go forward with this press deal you're going to do down in Arizona on Friday. And with that, we go to the pages of Breitbart for the following. And headline, data dump shows 650,000 migrant criminals, suspects free in Biden-Harris America. That is not a typo, ladies and gentlemen. It's not from the Babylon Bee. That is a correct headline. And when you see this, this is going to make your head explode, if I may borrow an expression from Glenn Beck. Article written by Neil Monroe, we've got the following. President Joe Biden's administration is allowing up to 650,000 criminal migrants and suspects, including at least 13,099 migrant murderers and 141,000 migrants facing criminal charges to roam through American communities, according to dramatic data dump by a House Republican. Now, specifically, what this article references is a letter, and I apologize, I'm not able to enlarge this anymore, but I will read it for you guys. This came from U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement, is written to Tony Gonzalez, who's congressman, I believe, out of Texas. And it says, Dear Representative Gonzalez, thank you for your March 13th, 2024 letter. Now, wait a minute. A congressman writes them in March, and he's just now getting the letter. What is that? April, May, June, July, August. 6 months later. 6 months? That's just a little bit ridiculous, but laying that aside, let's move on. I am responding on behalf of the Department of Homeland Security, Department of U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement. Apologize for the delay. ICE recognizes the importance of relationship with law enforcement partners to carry out its mission. In recent years, however, as you know, some jurisdictions have reduced their cooperation to include refusal to honor ICE detainer requests, even for non-citizens. ICE recognizes that some jurisdictions are concerned that cooperating with federal immigration officials will erode trust with the immigrant communities and make it harder for local law enforcement to serve those populations. However, sanctuary policies can end up shielding dangerous criminals who often victimize those same communities. The last paragraph on the first page of this letter. Your letter requests the number of non-citizens on ICE's docket convicted or charged with a crime. As of July 21st, 2024, there were 662,000 non-citizens with criminal histories on ICE's national docket, which includes those detained by ICE and on the agency's non-detained docket. And if you're wondering what that docket looks like, here's the next page, and this is going to make you mad as hell. Non-detained convicted criminals, 425,000. Pending charges, 222,000. And it actually breaks down the list of crimes for which they are convicted. So I'm going to leave this to you guys to take a look at. Give me 1 second here. I'm going to drop this on both sides in both YouTube and Rumble. And you guys can take a look at this for yourself. But this is just horrible. Absolutely horrible. I mean, for example, there are, 17,000 individuals, non-detained illegal immigrants that are like convicted of burglary. Let's see. What else have we got here? Dangerous drug charges. We've got 69,000. Oh, yeah. This is just absolutely horrible. So, yeah. Let's go back to that Breitbart article. And I want to put the stat up here again. allowing up to 650,000 criminal migrants and suspects, including at least 13,000 migrant murderers and 222,000 migrants facing criminal charges to roam through American communities. And she decides to go take a trip down to the border. Now, apparently, from what I understand, this letter got in Congressman Gonzalez's hands Wednesday. Now, I don't what maybe delivered. Wait a minute. Let me look at something real quick. I got to make sure about this here. Excuse me. Letter was dated Wednesday, so let's just say it took Thursday to get over to his office, or Friday morning at the absolute earliest. That's just in 3.5 years, folks. That's what Biden and Harris have let run around in our country, and still continue to run around our country. Because it's like it said, they're non-detained. ICE does not have their hands on these people right now. It just, oh my God. I mean, rapes, murders, particularly of young women. I mean, Lake and Riley, just the first name comes to my mind almost automatically. And with this information coming out on Friday, she still decides to go down to Arizona for a visit to the border. You know, I don't know who's running her campaign, but they're definitely not the brightest bunch in the box. Now, we've got some clips of her visit to the southern border, and the first one is of her disembarking the plane, looking all very, very serious and very stern, very, very much, you know, I am Kamala, hear me roar. Check this out. And that's Senator Mark Kelly from Arizona with her. So yeah. Oh, I have no doubt they try to suppress the info. I have no doubt at all they try to suppress that info. WWG1 says, what's with the coat? What do you mean, what's with the coat? And I'm not asking that in a hostile manner. I'm just curious, in what context do you mean what's with the coat? To me, it looks like a Carhartt hunting jacket. You know, one of those kind of like 3/4 length coats. It's like you keep your shotgun shells in if you're out on a hunt. You know, kind of not real heavy, but just light enough. Like if you're going duck hunting or something. That's what it looks like to me. Okay, now I see what you're getting at. It's 108 degrees there. Why is she wearing the coat? I don't know. Why does she do anything she does? I have no idea. But anyway, and we've also got a picture of her walking around the border. Here's a little clip of that.
Stay off the concrete, back over here. Off the concrete, back over here, please. Stay off the concrete over there, back over here.
So yeah, she's talking with border agents, and she's making an appearance, and she's looking all stern and tough about the border, and yada, yada, yada. Well, she gave a speech shortly after this appearance. And guys, I'll give Kamala Harris credit for one thing. This lady has got some serious stones, because some of the stuff she says in this speech, I mean, if the statistics in that letter to Congressman Gonzalez is not enough to absolutely make you want to blow up, believe me, and I am not trying to make your weekend bad or make you mad, but when you see some of these clips, it's going to absolutely just make you want to scream. And here's the first one. Now keep in mind, everything that's happened here in the United States in the past 3.5 years, because of how Biden and Harris have handled the southern border. Now, notice I'm trying to be neutral when I say that. Okay. I know what I think about it. And I got a pretty good idea you know what you think about it. But just keep everything in mind. The reports of the rape, murder, drugs, violence that's happened in the past 3.5 years because of how they've chosen to handle the border. And with that, I got a 20-second clip. All I got to say is buckle up.
There are consequential issues at stake in this election, and one is the security of our border. The United States is a sovereign nation, and I believe we have a duty to set rules at our border and to enforce them. And I take that responsibility very seriously.
F in the chat if you'd like for me to play that again. Because like I said, I mean, this woman's got some serious stones on her. She's got some nerve. I mean, now, see, yes and no. Yes and no, and I'll explain what I'm getting at here in a minute. But give me an F in the chat if you'd like to hear this again. Yeah, small time. You're absolutely right. And I've got some other clips here in a minute. But you know what? I love you guys, but I'm going to make an executive decision here. I'm playing this again because I want the import of what she just said in 20 seconds. I want this to sink in. Now, like I said, remember everything that's happened in the United States or even in your communities or in your state because of the way that Joe Biden and Kamala Harris have handled the southern border of the United States for the past 3.5 years. Okay? Just keep that in mind and then listen to what she says.
There are consequential issues at stake in this election, and one is the security of our border. The United States is a sovereign nation, and I believe we have a duty to set rules at our border and to enforce them. And I take that responsibility very seriously.
We have a sovereign duty to set rules at our border, and I take that responsibility very seriously. Okay. I want to go back to something that was just said a minute ago, and this is not to start an argument. It's not to totally disagree. I think that I agree with you. There are going to be some voters that are going to eat this up and think she's just doing great. Here's my counterpoint, or maybe it's better to say my corollary to that statement. I think you're absolutely right. There are going to be some voters that, eat this up, think she's doing great, yada, yada, yada. I respectfully submit this visit to the border on Friday, going into a weekend with less than 40 days to go, is going to backfire. And I would respectfully submit it already is. And here's why I say that. And again, the responsibility falls on the Trump campaign and surrogates of the Trump campaign to get this message out. But for 3.5 years, this woman was the border czar. That's what Joe Biden named her, by the way, not anybody else. Joe Biden put her in charge of the southern border. Specifically, her job was to deal with the causes of migration to the southern border. Okay. Now, Kamala and her people have tried to spin this. Well, I didn't have responsibility over the border. No, I was just trying to take care of the migrant causes. Okay, well, let's analyze that for a second. Let's assume that, Kamala and her people are absolutely right, that Kamala's only job in all this was to stop, to do something about the reasons why people were coming to the southern border. Well, if that's the case, then she failed miserably because in 3.5 years, she didn't stop anybody from coming to the southern border. They just kept on flowing up out of Central and South America and just rolling on past the southern border. If her job, on the other hand, was to just stop it cold, she still failed because they kept on flowing across the southern border. So either way you look at it, Kamala Harris failed in her job as the border czar. Okay? And getting that message out is incumbent on the Trump campaign and, people supporting the Trump campaign, surrogates around the Trump campaign, etc. Okay? But that's why I think this visit, to me, isn't offense on her part. It's defense. She knows she's vulnerable on this issue. She knows the American people do not trust her with border security or how to deal with immigration. And we got a few more clips of her talking, and oh my God, you want some stuff that's just going to make you gag. Wait till you hear some of this. But she knows she's hurting on this issue. Otherwise, look, how many times has she visited the southern border in the past 3.5 years? Once that I'm aware of. Once. Okay. And when she was asked about it by Lester Holt of NBC News, she said, we're going to the border, but you haven't gone to the border yet. Well, I haven't gone to Europe. I don't understand your point. She knows she's vulnerable on this issue. She's hurting on this issue. Otherwise, she wouldn't be down there. And this is the part about it that's going to ring hollow to her. Okay? This is the part that's going to ring hollow. How many times did Donald Trump visit the southern border in the past 10 years? Almost 10. Let's just say 9. He was running for president in 2015 is when he announced he got in. But how many times in the past 9 years has Donald Trump visited the southern border? How many times has Donald Trump spoken about the southern border, about illegal immigration, about everything else? Now, you can agree with him, disagree with him. That's fine. Okay? That's not my point. My point is he has been harping on this issue for years. When he was president, he was issuing executive orders, giving resources to Immigration's Customs and Enforcement and Border Patrol Agency, trying to get this thing under control. And when he left office, border crossings were at a 20-year low. When and I've got a clip of Tom Homan here in just a second, when he makes the statement that they handed the Biden administration the most secure southern border in years, he's not wrong. He's not wrong at all. And what did Biden and Harris do with it just as soon as their hands were off the Bibles, having been sworn in? Undid everything Trump put in place to keep the border under control. And when the American people started noticing people walking around their towns like, who the hell are you? When did you roll in? They're looking back at Washington going, you guys want to do something other? Kamala, ice cream. You're the border czar. You go do something about it. Well, for 3.5 years, what did she do about it? Nothing. Didn't even visit the border but once that I'm aware of. And now, with less than 40 days to go to the election, she's making a visit to the border. I'm telling you, she's playing defense. This is going to look like a defensive move. And like I said, I give her credit. I give her a ton of credit. She even came out with a campaign ad talking about the stuff she wants to do in her plan to do something about the border. Check this out.
Kamala Harris has never backed down from a challenge. She put cartel members and drug traffickers behind bars, and she will secure our border. Here's her plan. Hire thousands more border agents, enforce the law and step up technology, and stop fentanyl smuggling and human trafficking. We need a leader with a real plan.
Oh, hang on.
To fix the border, and that's Kamala Harris.
I'm Kamala Harris, and I approve this message.
But if I may, and forgive me for a slight form of plagiarism here, if that's her plan, why hasn't she been doing this all along? I mean, seriously. Why has she not been doing this all? Well, she wasn't president of the United States. Well, excuse me. she was in the room with Joe Biden every time some major policy decision was made. She was the one who said she was the last person giving him advice about what they needed to do. So how come, if this was her plan, if she thought these things needed to be done to secure the southern border, how come she wasn't at a minimum, pushing Joe Biden to try to get them done? I ask you, why? Why is she not doing it? Why hasn't it been done? Well, we put up a border bill that would have done all that. All right. Yeah, well, we can talk about that. But yeah, I mean, she's got the stones to run this kind of ad. Okay. And this next clip's going to absolutely kill you. Forget campaign ads. This is from her own mouth. And like I said, this one's going to make you just want to just explode. With that, check this out.
And as president, I won't only bring back the border security bill that Donald Trump tanked, I will do more to secure our border. To reduce illegal border crossings, I will take further action to keep the border closed between ports of entry. Those who cross our borders unlawfully will be apprehended and removed and barred from re-entering for 5 years. We will pursue more severe criminal charges against repeat violators. And if someone does not make an asylum request at a legal point of entry and instead crosses our border unlawfully, they will be barred from receiving asylum. While we understand that many people are desperate to migrate to the United States, our system must be orderly and secure.
Guys, excuse me 1 second here. Excuse me. Hang on. I gotta. Oh God. Oh my. Oh God. Oh, blessed Lord. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I just 3.5 years she's been part of an administration that could have done everything she's talking about, and they didn't. And now, with 40 days to go, now she wants to do something about it. Now she wants to secure the border. Now, I'm good, sir. Except for the vomit-inducing video I just watched. Never mind. Just unbelievable. The stones on this woman is just incredible. Which, by the way, let's talk about her plan for a second. She wants to hire more border agents. No, I didn't swallow a fly, but I almost puked up my guts. Oh, Lord. Anyway, her border plan, hiring more border agents. Yeah, let's talk about that for a second. Breitbart did an analysis of this. 1 extra border agent for every 5 miles of the border. Watch this. Article by Neil Monroe. Kamala Harris's border security plan promises. Now, listen to this. She's going to hire a whole bunch more agents, right? Right? All these agents to help secure the border. You know how many she's going to put in? 1,500, which adds up to 1 single on-shift Border Patrol agent for every 5 miles of the 1,933-mile southern border. The extra force of 1,500 hires is 300 to 400 more agents on the border per shift, or 1 more agent every 5 miles at best, responded Ken Cuccinelli, the former acting border chief under President Donald Trump. Only about 20% of agents are on a border shift at any time, said Tom Homan, former top official at President Donald Trump's Immigration and Customs Enforcement Agency. So the additional 1,500 agents, quote, won't move the needle. It is ridiculous, Homan told Breitbart News. By the time you cite these agents on the northern border, the southern border, and on the maritime control, it makes zero difference. The far easier fix is to restore the border policies established by President Donald Trump, Homan said, adding, they're going down a rabbit hole here. You can secure the border with the same number of agents and the same number of immigration judges, and all they have to do is change policies. Well, Tom, you're absolutely right, but here's the problem. They don't want to change the policies. They made a mess. Everyone recognizes they made a mess. And as opposed to going back and undoing the things that made the mess, they now, having made the mess, propose solutions to that mess, as opposed to saying, why don't we just reverse policy? They don't want to reverse policy. They want to absolutely encapsulate this, ingrain this, chisel this into law and policy as they currently have it constituted. I mean, Homan's absolutely right. If you simply reverse policy, you can fix this, which, by the way, undercuts her whole argument about Trump and the border bill. He called up his buddies in Congress and he told them to kill it because he'd rather have an issue to run on than he would fix it. Kamala, he had it fixed with the same number of border agents and immigration judges and all the same amount of personnel that's currently there right now. I mean, don't get me wrong. Do we need more Border Patrol agents? Sure, I got no problem with that. Until we absolutely lock down the border and make it as secure as we possibly can, I say you put all the personnel down there that's required to get the job done. And if that takes, National Guard, fine. Do it. Do whatever every lawful means available, every ounce of manpower you got to have, put them down there. Do it. Till the American people know this border is secure by any objective, measurable standard. But what Kamala Harris is proposing here isn't going to do a daggone thing. And it amazes me. Just amazing. Which, by the way, I said a moment ago, this visit of hers is going to ring hollow. Because now she's saying the first responsibility that any nation has is to have a secure border. And there are things in this election that we need to care about, and border security is one of them. Oh, really? Really, Kamala? Then I don't know if you remember what you told Chuck Todd.
We have 2 million people cross this border for the first time ever. You're confident this border is secure?
We have a secure border in that is a priority for any nation, including ours and our administration.
Oh, wait a minute. Which is it? Which is it? Do we have a secure border or do we not have a secure border, Kamala? Which is it? You're telling Chuck Todd not that long ago, hey, we've got a secure border. We're fine. We're good. And now you're going down to the border with less than 40 days to the election trying to convince everybody, I'm tough on the border and we've got to secure our southern border and yada, yada, yada. Lady, it ain't gonna work. Your people might buy that pablum, but the rest of America, who's had crime and violence and murder in some cases visited upon them, their communities, their cities, their states, they're not buying it, honey. Forget it. And the fact you're doing this with less than 40 days to go is everything that everybody needs to see to realize you are full of crap. Blocked Ad Runner, and good morning, Blocked Ad Runner. Saw you come in a little bit earlier, but I didn't get a chance to say hello. Dems aren't just all talk, they're all bullshit, slander, and lies. You ain't wrong, brother. You ain't wrong. Oh, goodness. It just It's just, yeah, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. This is a real good point. A really good point. Maybe we should have hired more border agents as opposed to IRS agents. Yep. Oh, I mean, you got it. You got to admire Kamala here. You really do. You got to admire the stones on this woman. I mean, but the thing is, it's not really bravery as much as it is fear. She knows that she is vulnerable on this. And she's trying to make it look like she's just as tough on the border as Donald Trump. And I'm sorry, she might improve her polling numbers somewhat, but if it comes down to a clear-cut choice, here's Donald Trump's record on the southern border when he was president versus Kamala Harris as she was vice president. She's going to lose that argument every time. She will absolutely lose that argument every time. And by the way, it's not just that clip of Chuck Todd. Here's one that's really, I mean, the first responsibility that a nation has is to secure its southern border. And if you violate that border, there should be consequences. Really? Really? So if that's the case, can you explain this one, Kamala?
Because we have a president of the United States who has created a fiction about a crisis at the border, and he has held up the United States government and its workers around his vanity project called a wall.
Oh, was that the same wall you went down to Arizona and took a look at the other day, Kamala? Is that the vanity project you're talking about? If you're wondering where this clip is from, this is from 2019 when she was running for president. And she's telling everybody, this guy's inventing this thing about this problem with the southern border. We don't have a problem with the southern border. He wants a vanity project. He wants this wall. He wants this wall built. Same wall you were visiting the other day. Same border patrol agents you were talking to, the ones that enforce that wall. Same immigration and custom enforcement folks that you were probably talking in front of. That vanity project, that wall, that southern border, Kamala. Really? Is that what you're referring to here? Oh, but I forgot. You were just running for the nomination back then. Now you're the nominee and you've got 40 days to go until the election. God, I am so sorry, guys. How silly of me. Unbelievable with this lady. I'm going to put this clip. If you guys don't have this, there it is on YouTube, and here it comes on Rumble. Yeah, I agree with you. I agree. That starts to explain a lot. They're getting scared. They being people in the Democrat Party who've got a certain amount of common sense, which isn't that many anymore. And by the way, don't you think it's funny that she's now talking to the Border Patrol agents? Because I got a clip here. If the gall of this woman, having watched these clips this morning and read this information, if the gall of this woman hasn't already made you mad, this one's probably going to be the cherry on top of the cake. Okay? This comment comes from the Biden-Harris Border Patrol chief. This is the guy in charge of the border agents. Okay? It's a 12-second clip, but it really says a lot in 12 seconds. You want to know the kind of relationship that Kamala Harris has had with the people who are charged with protecting our southern border? You want to know how much she cares about trying to find out their concerns, their issues, their aspirations? Well, here's the guys in charge, and listen to what he says.
I've never had one conversation with the president or the vice president for that matter. And so I was the chief of the Border Patrol. I commanded 21,000 people. That's a problem.
You know what? I'm playing that again. So here's the man in charge of the Border Patrol agents. 21,000 of them. Okay? The man who answers directly to the president and the vice president of the United States. You know, the vice president who's the borders are. Remember her? The lady now running for president trying to convince you she's tough on the border. You want to know how tough on the border she was? How much she was really worried about it?
I've never had one conversation with the president or the vice president for that matter. And so I was the chief of the Border Patrol. I commanded 21,000 people. That's a problem.
Yeah, that's how much she cares about this. The only time she starts having conversations with Border Patrol agents is when she's doing a photo op in Arizona. That's how much she cares about it. Now, I mentioned that I had a clip from Tom Homan, the former director of Immigration, Customs, and Enforcement, and this one's pretty good. I want you guys to hear it, okay? And Homan, I tell you what, Homan is one of those individuals in government that you really wish you had a whole lot more of. Oh, yeah, she was there for 20 minutes. 20 minutes is all she was down there at the border. I guess before she gave the speech. Or hell, it might have been 20 minutes total. Who knows? Between the speech and the appearance, it might have been 20. But I figure it's probably 20 minutes at the border. And then she gave the speech. Just absolutely unbelievable with this lady. Unbelievable. But anyway, Tom Homan is one of those guys you wish you had more of in government, regardless of what job they're assigned to. Steady, dependable, no nonsense. These are the kind of guys, and women, if I may, and women, that you want trying to serve the American people. I mean, I've never heard a bad word said about Tom Homan. Not that I've necessarily followed his career that closely, to be honest with you, but I've never really heard a bad word said about Homan. He's just one of those guys, and once he gets his job, he wants to get it done. My kind of people. And with that, here is his thoughts on the whole matter.
The rank and file has no respect for her. Look, she broke the border. President Trump is right. He handed this administration the most secure border in my 34-year career, and they broke the border on purpose by abolishing everything we created under President Trump. And let's remember, I'm sick of her talking about the Senate bill. I don't want to talk about it because 6 months before the Senate bill was even talked about, we had H.R. 2, which passed the House, which is 100 times stronger than the Senate bill. But Chuck Schumer wouldn't put it on the floor for a vote. He wouldn't put it up for debate. The White House kept pushing it down. So they're the ones that shut down a legislation that could have fixed the border. But we got to remember, she broke the border. She didn't fix it. And she ought to apologize to the men and women of the Border Patrol, the chaos she created. She ought to apologize to the families of the 41 border CBP officers who committed suicide under this administration. She ought to apologize to the Horse Patrol for comparing them to racists. She ought to apologize to ICE for comparing them to the KKK. She ought to apologize to men and women who are in that green uniform who are giving CPR to babies, talking to girls as young as 7 raped by the criminal cartels because she opened this border wide up.
You begin to understand why I like guys like Tom Homan. And he just laid it on the line. Now, like I say, you can agree with him, disagree with him. If you want to disagree with him, that's fine. But take the facts that he just said in that one minute and almost 10-second clip. I dare you folks who disagree with him, prove him wrong. Prove him wrong. You got a 35-year veteran doing this kind of thing, protecting the border. Everything he just dropped in there is absolute gold. And not because I like it. It's gold because it's the truth. And by the way, there was a statistic that he dropped in there that I wasn't aware of until this morning, and it just heartbreaking. Over the course of their time as president and vice president, 41 different Border Patrol agents have taken their lives. Now, what the circumstances were with each of them, I don't know. But could it have been job-related? Could it have been the stress of dealing with the issues of trying to do a job of securing the border and you're handcuffed by the very people that, that are in charge of you? Maybe. Don't know. Oh yeah, yeah. I'd forgotten about this one too. But you're absolutely right. Absolutely right. TBA over on Rumble says it's enough to make you sick to your stomach. What's been done to those kids that's been trafficked? Oh, absolutely. 325,000 children, and nobody has any idea where they are right now. And she was the border czar. So in 3.5 years, she never had a conversation with the chief of the Border Patrol agents. She lays down a policy that basically amounts to 1 agent for every 5 miles of border wall, for whatever that's worth, which according to experts is nothing. It'll do no good. But she did have more to say. She did have more to say in this speech. And she had some other ideas about what she'd like to do. Oh, folks, I am telling you, get ready, because here it comes.
And the contrast in this election is clear. It is a choice between common sense solutions and the same old political games. In the 4 years that Donald Trump was president, he did nothing to fix our broken immigration system. He did not solve the shortage of immigration judges. He did not solve the shortage of border agents. He did not create lawful pathways into our nation. He did nothing to address an outdated asylum system, and did not work with other governments in our hemisphere to deal with what clearly is also a regional challenge.
Okay, I'm going to stop that right there, because I'm telling you what, that's a damn lie. The argument that Trump wasn't working with other governments, hell, Trump was working with Mexico, with Central American governments to try to get them to keep these people inside their own country. Okay? TBA is like, get your bucket ready. She's about to make us all puke again. Oh, yeah. What was Remain in Mexico? Was that not an effort to try to get something done? Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I mean, this woman is just straight up lying. There's and here, and I got something else to say on this. Kamala's like, well, he didn't do this, and he didn't do that, and he didn't do this, and he didn't do that. All right. Let's just assume for a moment he didn't do all the things that she claims he didn't get done in the 4 years that Trump was in the White House. I know one thing he did get done. He secured the border. See, all the things that she wants done are, how do I want to put this? It's almost like, buying new hinges and new handles and 10-penny nails and 1 inch wide wood so you can build a new barn door after the horses have already gotten out. Trump stopped the horses before they ever left the barn. With the same amount of personnel right now that Donald Trump had when he left office, they I would say cannot control the border. They won't control the border. Trump didn't have, she may be right. He didn't pass any laws to upgrade our broken asylum system. He didn't pass this policy. He didn't put this in place. No, he was just a little bit busy, Kamala. He was actually securing the border. So you wouldn't have to worry about all the things you're trying to get done right now. That's what I'm saying. She wants the policies put in place that stop the horses from that basically build a new barn door after the horses have already gotten out. Trump stopped them from ever leaving the stall. Trump stopped it from ever happening so that you don't have to worry about all the crap she's worrying about. She wants these policies in place, but doesn't want to change the root cause, which is if you secure the border, you don't have to do this stuff. It just absolutely bingo, bingo, bingo. 3.5 years. What stopped her? Yep. WWG won't remain in Mexico, anyone? It is refreshing how easy it is to disprove her lies. It doesn't take much. And that, for the next 30, whatever many days we've got left, look, I am one simple man with cheap surplus Ukrainian equipment here on a little live stream. And I can take this stuff. I may not be the best live streamer in the world or the best social media maven in the world, but I can take this lady apart. Sitting here in the comfort of my own house, in my little community, in my beloved state of West Virginia. I can take this broad apart. It is incumbent upon Trump's campaign, Trump, surrogates everywhere, and I'm not necessarily calling any one person out or saying they're not doing it already, but hammer this home. This lady is a lying sack of shite. She's terrible. She is standing there brazenly lying to the American people about what happened in the 4 years of Donald Trump and trying to get them to absolutely ignore everything she either did or did not do with regard to securing the southern border. What are the top issues in this campaign? Inflation, border security, immigration, crime. Hammer home those issues and what Trump wants to do about them and what she hasn't done about them, and Trump's going to win this thing. I got one more clip for you guys. And, I said that, there's various cherries on top of the cake. Well, this might be the ultimate cherry. Woo, this one's going to make you mad. So she wants to do all these glorious things on the border, and she wants to do one more thing that is absolutely, in her mind, the most important thing that you could possibly do to fix our border security issues, right? She wants to do one more thing that above all else will make America safer and more secure with regard to people coming across our border. And with that, Ruben, I saw your comment. Get ready, y'all, because here it comes.
And as president, I will work with Congress to create, at long last, a pathway to citizenship for hardworking immigrants who have been here for years. And deserve to have a system that works.
Yep. There it is, folks. Amnesty. Ruben, you are spot on, my friend. You are absolutely spot on. That's what this was never about border security. That appearance yesterday, all right, she may have been under the pretense of border security. I'm going to give a speech about it. Even though for the past 3.5 years, I only visited the southern border once and I was the border czar. No, this was about amnesty. Good point, Robert. Very good point, by the way. Very good point. This is why, ladies and gentlemen, I have the smartest audience on the internet. And to quote Shakespeare, though we may be tiny, we are fierce. TBA over on Rumble says, we cannot let the effing communists get into office anymore. They will destroy what's left of our nation. Amen, brother. Amen. You're not wrong. Blocked Ad Runner says it's all about votes and power. Yes, wholeheartedly. Yep. So that, ladies and gentlemen, was Kamala's visit to the border. What do you think? Does it help her out? Does it hurt? I think it hurts. I think, to me, it demonstrates she is weak on this issue. But there's 30-something days left, so we'll see. All right, it is. Oh, my God, I have really been on this thing for a while. Woo! It's 10 minutes after 12. Kickoff has already started. My goodness. Well, I'll tell you what, let me do a real quick commercial, and then we got some other things we want to get into. For those of you who've happened on this live stream and you're like, who is this handsome devil wearing that fancy hat? My name is Brian Trippett, and I'm the Front Porch Conservative. You have come to the live stream that is known as Front Porch Brunch. This is a live stream we do on the weekends, Saturday mornings, 10:30 a.m. on Rumble, on Twitter, and on YouTube. We get together, we talk about the news, we try to have some laughs, we try to laugh at each other, or most people just laugh at the host, but that's all right. I'm tough enough to take it. Anyway, we're on Rumble, we're on Twitter, we're on YouTube. I would love to have you as a subscriber to my channel. So if you're not currently, please go ahead and subscribe to my channel on Rumble and on YouTube. Also, give me a thumbs up. Brother's working hard here, my man, let me tell you. Give a thumbs up, leave a comment in chat. It tends to help with the algorithm. Share the link around to friends of yours who maybe aren't subscribed already, and let them know, hey, he's a whack job sometimes. He gets a little bit angry, but on the whole, he's not that bad. I'll take any form of advertisement. Even that. Anyway, with that, we're gonna move on to a different topic. But it happened to coincide, this topic, on the very same day that Kamala decides to go down to the border. Now, as I mentioned way earlier in this live stream, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky is currently touring the United States. Some of you may remember earlier this week, he visited Pennsylvania, a munitions factory. He had a meeting with Biden and with Harris, by the way. Well, assuming that Zelensky hasn't left the country yet, and it may very well be the case, I'm not sure of his travel itinerary, he did make one more stop in the United States, and it's a big one. He met with former President Trump. Now, before I dive into this thing, I want to step back and analyze something. Have you guys noticed a very interesting trend over the past, let's call it 5-6 months? Have you noticed how many current world leaders are making their way either down to Mar-a-Lago or to Trump Tower in New York City, and they're meeting with Donald Trump? Viktor Orban of Hungary, Benjamin Netanyahu of Israel. Now you've got Zelensky, who's met with Trump. And from what I understand, British Prime Minister Keir Starmer is soon to meet with Trump, I think, at Trump Tower in New York City. But either way, you've got a lot. Matter of fact, if I'm not mistaken, and he may have already done this, but if not, I know he's coming. Prime Minister Modi of India is wanting to meet with Trump if he hasn't done it already. You got a ton of current world leaders who are going to pay call on this former president, a man who's not currently in power right now. Now, he's running to get back in power, but he's not currently in power right now. And even though they may be making the obligatory stop in Washington, D.C., or wherever Joe Biden happens to find himself to pay call on the current president of the United States, by and large, they're coming for one reason. They come in to see Trump. Now, you can make an argument there's a lot of reasons for that. But I would argue, and I think y'all already know where I'm going with this because you're thinking the same thing, these guys think he might come back into power, and there's a pretty good chance it's going to happen. And if that's the case, they're going to want to get on the good side of this guy. Now, Zelensky's meeting was a little bit different. And I'm not going to sit here and tell you that I understand the reasons why. I mean, look, I think Volodymyr Zelensky is a corrupt Ukrainian politician, about as corrupt as most of them over there. And I'm not going to sit here and tell you I know every motivation that goes through Vladimir Zelensky's mind, but maybe, just maybe, somewhere in there is a love and concern for the people that he's president of. Maybe. That's debatable, but I'm at least willing to give him benefit of the doubt. His country has lost God only knows how many hundreds of thousands of men and women. Cities and towns have been destroyed. You know. Anyway, he's coming to meet with Trump. Yeah, I agree with this. I agree. I think people see the writing on the wall. And, you know, like I say, I could be wrong about his motivations. I'm willing to concede that I could be absolutely wrong about it. But either way, whatever his motivations, he came to America. Yeah, he went to see Biden. Yeah, he saw Harris. Yeah, he spoke at the United Nations. But he made it a point to come see Donald Trump. And with that, we go to NBC News. Meeting with Zelensky, and Trump says he will negotiate a Ukraine-Russia deal that is good for both sides. Article written by Rebecca Shabbat and Jake Taylor. We've got the following. Meeting with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky for the first time in 5 years, former President Donald Trump Friday complained that his 2019 impeachment complained about it and said if reelected, he would work to end the Russia-Ukraine war with a deal that's good for both sides. Quote, we're going to work very much with both parties to try and get this thing settled and get it worked out, Trump said, standing next to Zelensky while speaking to a small group of reporters ahead of their closed-door meeting. It has to end at some point. It has to end. He's gone through hell. His country has gone through hell. Trump said the two leaders have a very good relationship, and I have a very good relationship, as you know, with President Putin. Zelensky added that he hoped that they would continue to have a good relationship. All right, now we got some clips. And by the way, we do have a clip of them walking into the meeting, and you know, I have to say, the camera people that did this one, I think absolutely got it right. Here's a picture of Trump and Zelensky walking into the meeting together. And one more time, in case you didn't catch that one. Again, the doors part. Here comes Trump, obviously in traditional suit and tie. Zelensky walking in. And there you go. All right, we do have a few more. Yeah, he made it a point to meet with someone who hasn't even been elected yet. So we got a couple of clips here where they're speaking. This is Trump and Zelensky, I guess maybe before or after. I'm not sure which, but here you go, folks.
Future between you could very well happen, but I think the president said it the best. This is a war that should have never happened. It should have never happened, and it wouldn't have happened. It's a shame, but this is a war that should have never happened, and we'll get it solved. It's a complicated puzzle, very complicated puzzle, but we'll get it solved, and people get on with their lives. Too many people dead, too many beautiful cities. I've seen those cities are so beautiful, and that, you know, I don't know how you can ever rebuild them the way they were. It's not possible.
You have to come, by the way, to see us.
Well, I will. It's a beautiful country, beautiful weather, beautiful everything. But we have to get this over with. Yeah. But it's a war, and the president agrees. This is a war that should have never happened. Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Well, there you go. Possible. Got a couple of more here, and this one I thought was kind of cute. Maybe cute's not the right word. Yeah, this is just before the sit down starts, and you got to give Trump credit for one thing: he's always had a way with words. Check this one out.
I also have a very good relationship, as you know, with President Putin, and I think if we win, I think we're going to get it resolved very quickly. very worried. I really think we're going to get it.
I hope we have more good relations.
We're going to have. Oh, I see. Yeah,
You-
but it takes two to tango, and.
I hope we have good relations. I hope we continue to have good relations, Mr. President. Well, it takes two to tango. Okay. All right. Good morning, good afternoon, Professor. Good to see you, sir. As with all folks, Christian Watson's Welsh Republic podcast, give those guys a sub. Okay. I'd be curious to hear your why. And I'm not saying that to start an argument with you, Christian, but I would be curious to hear the why. But anyway, that aside, got one more clip here, I believe. Oh, no. That takes care of all the Zelensky stuff. But yeah, they've had a meeting. We'll see what happens out of it. Now, yesterday, Trump wasn't just in meeting with Zelensky. He's holding a town hall in Michigan, which he's now wanting to do, which, by the way, for all of you all who are veterans of the Trump campaigns, in other words, you kind of know how this guy operates. When it gets down to the last 30 or 40 days, he starts ramping up events. He's usually doing like 2 or 3 of them a day. I saw a clip last night of Corey Lewandowski, who's now back involved with the Trump campaign in a very heavy sort of way. And he made the statement on Jesse Waters' show. Yeah, he said, you're going to see him be doing like 3 or 4 events a week. Or not a week, excuse me. Jeez. 3 or 4 events a day. And as a matter of fact, Lewandowski tells a story that just recently that they were doing some scheduling. They took it to the former president. Trump said, well, how come I'm not doing something on a Sunday? They all kind of looked at each other. They didn't really have a good answer and said, put something on Sunday. I want to do something. So there you go. So he's going to be busy. Now, well, okay. I'll tell you what. Fast on his feet, fast with a comment, and even fast with a keyboard. I think Zelensky's been emotionally manipulative in asking for aid. When the war first started, he went to the nations and used tragic moments in their history to browbeat them into giving money. He invoked 9/11 when he came to Congress. Really? Okay. I don't disagree with any of that. Completely fair. Yeah, that's a good take. That's a really good take. I agree with you. So yeah, I can kind of understand why that meeting with Trump would be bugging you. I really do. But anyway, Trump is in Michigan. Gypsy, he's up in your neck of the woods. And let me see if I can figure out where this was at. I'm not sure the where. I'm not sure if this was Detroit or around Detroit or wherever. But he's at a town hall and gets a very interesting response from one of the folks who's there. And I thought this was good. So with that, check this one out.
Good evening, President Trump.
Good evening.
My name's Misty. I proudly build the Ford Broncos and Rangers. Yeah! I've been with Ford for 25 years. If I'm going to be honest with you, I'm sorry. I was not for you in the beginning. But my son told me I sounded ignorant and I needed to educate myself on you.
That's it.
True.
That's what we're like. Where is he? Where is he? Is he here?
No, he
Well, you say, I love your son. I think it's great.
He said just get his autograph. Anyways,
Yeah,
so I took the challenge on, and I'm proud to say that I'm voting for you again.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
No, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Maybe not all that informative, maybe not all that hard hitting, but makes me kind of wonder if after 4 years of Biden and Harris, if there are people who are like, oh, that Trump guy, I didn't like him, he stunk. It's like, oh, I really don't like her. And maybe this lady, it was in Warren, Michigan. TBA says it was Warren, Michigan. Thank you very much, sir. I appreciate that. Blocked Admiral says, never underestimate the power of the people. True dat. So I play that one just to kind of, maybe let's see what happens. Oh, by the way, speaking of this visit to Warren, Michigan, I got to play something for you guys that is genuinely cute. Genuinely cute. I always find, look, I've always said that, the way that I try to gauge how things are going in an election, regardless of what office it's for, is by anecdotal evidence. And and sometimes it's the silliest of things, which, more often than not, I could be wrong, and I have been on a few occasions. But sometimes just the reaction of kids when you ask them something kind of gives you an idea what's going on. Because, as I think many of y'all will recognize or have observed perhaps in your own life, that kids are the reflection of the conversations of their parents. And it's not necessarily the children, young children in particular, are necessarily that politically informed, but they listen a lot to what their parents say. And I've got this clip. It doesn't run very long. It's about 30 seconds. But God, this is cute. And this is just absolutely cute. So this reporter, and I'm not sure who he's with, is interviewing these two young ladies, I guess, before the town hall in Warren, Michigan. And you've got to hear this, because this is absolutely adorable.
What do you want him to do? What do you want him to say today?
I want him to lower prices and lower the taxes and make Barbies cheaper.
Make Barbies cheaper?
Yeah.
Tell me more about that. Have they gotten expensive?
Yeah, and Polly Pockets. All my favorite toys are so expensive.
Look, I don't care who you are. That was adorable. I want him to lower taxes, and I want him to do this, but I want him to make Barbies cheaper. That was great. That was absolutely. Even kids recognize what inflation is doing. You can't buy the Barbies the way you used to. Awful, I say, awful. All right. We're gonna, what time is it? 12:30? All right. Yeah, it's about as good time as any. About good a time as any for a real quick commercial, and then we'll move on to some other topics. Let me clean some of this out to make it a little bit easier here. There we go. All right, here we go. Excuse me 1 second. Absolutely. Make Barbie affordable again. Make Barbie cheap again. There you go. Oh, mercy me. All right. Real quick commercial. We'll move on. My name is Brian Tripp, and I'm the Front Porch Conservative. This live stream is called Front Porch Brunch. We get together Saturday mornings at 10:30 a.m. on Rumble, on Twitter, and on YouTube to get together and talk about some of the things we find in the news. Some of them serious, some of them silly, and we even talk about Barbies. Okay, never mind. We're just going to edit that out later, but you get my point. Anyway, if this is the sort of thing you like, kind of loose, casual, fun kind of conversation, get together talking about the news, then why don't you just go ahead and subscribe to my channel and hit the bell for notifications. That way you're always aware when I'm doing something. Give a thumbs up, leave a comment in chat on both YouTube and Rumble, and subscribe on both YouTube and Rumble, please. Also, share the link around with your friends. Let's see if we can grow this thing into something big, beautiful, and awesome. All right. It hasn't gotten a lot of attention, not the way that that any kind of conversation between Donald Trump and Kamala Harris would. But the vice presidential debate is this Tuesday night, 9 p.m. Eastern. It is going to be hosted by CBS. And this one is, to me, one of the more intriguing of the debates in recent years. And normally I don't say that about a vice presidential debate. But this one has got the potential for some fireworks. Two different men, two different styles, two different backgrounds. And it's going to be on CBS, 9 p.m. Eastern. I am going to live stream it. Got to see if anybody out there would be available to live stream with me. By the way, that was not a kick you in the elbow sort of thing. I'm going to reach out to my normal friends and partners and see if anyone wants to sit in for this. And this one just intrigues me because you got Tim Walz, governor of Minnesota, and U.S. Senator J.D. Vance. And I just think this one's got the potential for even more fireworks than the debate between Trump and Harris. And with that, a real quick setup for what's going to happen this Tuesday night. This is from the Associated Press. CBS says it will be up to Vance and Walz to fact-check each other during the Veep debate. CBS, and this is by David Bowder of the Associated Press, CBS News hosting Vice President candidates J.D. Vance and Tim Walz for the general election campaign's third debate next week says it will be up to the politicians, not the moderators, to fact-check their opponents. Now, I wholeheartedly agree with this. The 90-minute debate, scheduled for 9 p.m. Eastern on Tuesday in a Manhattan studio that once hosted the children's program Captain Kangaroo, how appropriate given this debate, will be moderated by the outgoing CBS News anchor Norah O'Donnell and Face the Nation host Margaret Brennan. Wait a minute. When did Norah O'Donnell is leaving CBS News? When did this happen? No, I'm serious. I'm not trying to make a joke. I had not heard about this. She's leaving? It's interesting. All right. Back to the story. All right. During ABC's debate during the presidential contenders Kamala Harris and Donald Trump earlier this month, network moderators on 4 occasions pointed out inaccurate statements by Trump and none by Harris. That infuriated the former president and his supporters, who complained that it was unfair. Last spring, CNN moderators did not question any facts presented by Trump and President Joe Biden in the debate, where Biden's poor performance eventually led to him dropping out of the race. On Friday, CBS said the onus will be on Vance and Walz to point out misstatements by the other, and that the moderators will facilitate those opportunities during rebuttal. The network said its own misinformation unit, CBS News confirmed, will provide real-time fact-checking during the debate on its live blog and on social media, and on the air during post-debate analysis. Okay. For my part, and Robert, I think you're absolutely right about this. CBS learned from ABC the whole debacle, how this went down. I agree with you completely. And matter of fact, what happened on ABC, and I'm not going to say it's going to happen all the time going forward for however much longer the networks host these debates, but I've got a feeling that the kind of thing that David Muir and Lindsey Davis engaged in during the last presidential debate is going to become less and less as time goes by. And yeah, Gypsy, I totally agree with you. They're not fact-checking. To me, the moderators need to stay out of it. Somebody wants to get fact-checked, let the other candidate do the fact-checking. Yeah, I agree with you. Yeah, misinformation, sounds like positively Soviet. Totally. I mean, look, ask these guys the questions and let them go at it. Okay? Just let them go at it. And frankly, I think this has got the potential to get really interesting. Now, normally I don't say this about a vice presidential debate. Now, do I think that the winner of the debate, whoever it might be, is going to move the needle for their respective candidate that much? Probably not. It will probably give some confirmation to decisions that voters are already thinking about if they haven't already made them. But yeah, I think these two have got the potential to just really get it on. I really do. The other thing that I'm going to be fascinated to see, and he may not even need to do it that much, but I just wonder if, as a strategy, if J.D. Vance is going to try and goad Tim Walz into losing his cool. Now, you might sit out there and ask yourself, now that seems like a kind of strange thing to say, Brian. Why would you mention that? I cannot prove it, but I have had people say to me, family members of mine say to me, who are very good at judging people. I should say sizing them up, maybe is a better way of saying it. They're very good at sizing them up. They have all said to me, to a man or woman, he's got a temper. I have had friends of mine say the same thing to me. Walls has got a temper. I'm just very curious to see if, and he may not even do it. He may not even do it. I'll be very curious to see if J.D. Vance tries to push Tim Walz' buttons to see if he can get him to well, this makes you wonder. I mean, do you guys remember the image that he's talking about? During the Democrat National Convention, there's a moment where Tim Walz takes his son, who is, I believe it's either autistic or has a certain amount of developmental disability, and just kind of yanks him really hard to one side of the stage to avoid hitting the teleprompter. And the way he does it, I'm not going to use the word violent, but he does it with decided authority. And it's not just that. I mean, there have been other things. And like I say, I'm just curious, and Vance might not even go there, but I'm going to be curious to watch if JD tries to push Walz' buttons. Now, by the same token, I'm going to be very curious to see what Walz tries to do to Vance. Is Walz going to try and get under Vance's skin? Is he going to try and throw him off his game? Oh, yeah. See, absolutely has a temper. Yeah, I think he does. I really think he does. So it'll be very interesting to see, like Jack from The Shining. Interesting analogy. Very interesting analogy. I never quite compared Tim Walz to Jack Nicholson, but let's see. Yeah, I think I know what you're referring to. A little Jerry Sandusky style sort of a thing, maybe. I don't know. I've heard that, and I've heard some other stuff. But if that whole thing is true about Walz, oh God, this could get bad. Yeah. Yeah, well, I mean, we'll see. We'll see what happens here. We'll see what happens. So yeah, it's gonna be Tuesday night, 9 p.m. Eastern. Probably I'll start the live stream with about 20 minutes to go. Maybe half an hour before it starts officially at 9 o'clock. But yeah, we will be live streaming the debate. So there you go. Yeah, well, it's alleged. It's just alleged. Just saying. Yeah. All right. We have hit the HodgePodge stew section of the show. And we've got a few things lined up for HodgePodge stew. Now, for those of you out there who are watching this live stream for the first time and you're asking yourself, what the heck is HodgePodge stew? HodgePodge stew is a collection of stories that, while there are many things that people are focused on, there are some news items out there important, but maybe they're not getting quite all the attention that they should. And we gather them together, throw them in a pot, in what we call HodgePodge. And it's a fairly healthy collection of stories for the HodgePodge stew section of the show. And with that, we'll start with one of the ones I mentioned Wednesday night that I want to talk about. And it has to do with Kamala Harris's record as a prosecutor. Now, it doesn't matter where she goes. It doesn't matter what campaign ad you're watching. She is always bringing up the fact that she was a prosecutor. She prosecuted drug dealers and transnational criminals, and she was, prosecuting people for violating borders in California, yada, 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 etc., and so on. Okay? Well, there might be just one little problem with this whole argument that Kamala makes on her behalf is no one seems to be able to find any evidence that she prosecuted much of anything, regardless of whether she was with the San Francisco District Attorney's Office or whether she was the Attorney General of the state of California. And with that, we go to our first article for HodgePodge Stew from Breitbart News. Jeff Clark. I can't find evidence Kamala Harris led a prosecution of even one single case. Article by Joel Pollack, we have the following. Former Trump administration Department of Justice official Jeff Clark said Wednesday he cannot find evidence that Vice President Kamala Harris ever personally led the prosecution of a single case at the local or state level. Quote, I am looking to see whether she's actually first chaired a trial ever, Clark told the Charlie Kirk Show on the Real America's Voice Network. Otherwise, it's really misleading to call yourself some kind of an ace prosecutor. And with that, we have got the clip from the Charlie Kirk Show where Jeff Clark makes an appearance. Now, Clark is probably one of the smartest legal minds out there in America. And I found this story to be really interesting. And with that, check this out.
I ran searches on Westlaw, which I'm particularly expert at using. It's a very large, the largest and most comprehensive computerized legal research database. And I can't find any evidence of any cases that she prosecuted. And I searched for habeas cases where the transcripts might have wound up there. I also looked for whether she'd argued appeals. Can't find anything. Those tweets have gone viral. Elon Musk has spotted them. And I challenged her and her campaign weeks ago to please post up on some kind of, logging website, her past trial transcripts so that other lawyers like me can look at them and see if they show any signs of an impressive lawyer or if she's, being puffed up and overblown like an empty pantsuit. I'm sad to say I really don't find any evidence like that. She hasn't met the challenge. But now back to this Politico article. So there's an author, Eric, spelled H-E. I don't know how he pronounces it, whether it's hey or he. And he was kind enough actually to respond to me. He did a story, and that story says that she prosecuted a 300-day sex crimes prosecution against two different defendants. Their trials might have been split up. And then they, referred to trial transcripts plural. But when I contacted Eric, he did respond, but he said he doesn't have the trial transcripts. The only way to get them is to physically go to the courthouse and look at them. So I'm working on that next step. But many of us think that this may not have been cases that she prosecuted. It may have been that she made some kind of an appearance at the trial. And I'm looking to see whether she actually first chaired a trial ever. Otherwise, it's really misleading to call yourself some kind of ace prosecutor. And she was accused of that by one of her past political foes, a man named Bill Fazio. And I'm going to get in contact with him too, because he exposed her. She was making claims she'd prosecuted hundreds of cases, and then in a debate, she dialed it back to say 50. So she's already been caught lying about this, Charlie.
Oh, boy. Seabass, I know exactly what you mean. Before this election is over with, I think I'm going to need a medical patch right there because I'm constantly going with this woman. Just like there's no evidence of her. Yeah, I mean, this is the part that cracks me up as a slight aside. This whole controversy about her, whether she worked for McDonald's or not, it's real easy. Now the media says, well, we fact checked her. Okay, how did you fact check her? Well, we asked her about it. That's your idea of fact checking? That you ask the person who is accused of a thing whether or not they're telling the truth? Jeez, I thought journalism standards had slipped, and now you're telling me this? Well, you guys are really in the toilet for standards, if you have any. But it'd be real easy to do. Check time card records, check records with McDonald's corporate. Coworkers. How come there's not been one coworker from her days at McDonald's that came forward and said, yeah, I remember working with Kamala. She was really cute back in the day. I thought she was really an attractive girl or whatever. Something like that. which that idea is not necessarily original to me. Rich Barris was pointing out the same thing the other day. But Barris is right. How come there hasn't been one coworker from her days at McDonald's that's come forward and said, yeah, I worked with Kamala. We worked the 3 to 11 shift. Or we worked the drive-through together, from 7 to 2 or whatever. You get my point? It wouldn't be that hard to do it. But no one's coming forward. And now the same thing with her being an ace prosecutor. This is a guy, and Jeffrey Clark is no dummy, by the way. Jeffrey Clark is one very sharp cat. When this guy cannot find one single solitary case this woman is prosecuted, I mean, is there anything about this woman that's real? This Kamala Harris. Is there anything about her that's true? Seriously? Yeah. I disavow this comment. It's hilarious, but I disavowed. Okay, I don't want to know what kind of special sauce she was spreading back in the back room. No, that was bad. I apologize. That was really bad on my part. Sorry. That was really, really bad. Jeez, Brian, come on. The prosecution stuff would be absolutely easier to prove. Totally easier to prove. Yeah, she was clowning around with Ronald back in the background. Oh my word! Oh my God! Oh jeez! Oh Lord! Now we're right down the rabbit hole with this. Oh God! TBA is like disavow. Lord have mercy. Goodness. Yeah, I mean this prosecution stuff again, even easier to disavow, or not Jesus, easier to prove or disprove. And Jeffrey Clark cannot find one single solitary case. Westlaw searches, physical record searches, whatever. Nothing. So, and it just goes to show you something about these two people that are running for office. One of them can legitimately say, I was right about everything. The other one says, I've lied about everything. And by the way, they're not wrong. Neither one of them are wrong in this case. One of those rare moments when two politicians from two different political parties can be exactly right about the same statement. There you go. Oh, goodness. Goodness me. Let us see. What else have we got here? Hang on a minute. Oh, I played that earlier. Oh, by the by, we have a Nathan Wade update. Cue Let's Get It On by Marvin Gaye over there, Smokey. No, I wish I could, but I can't. Anyway, you get my point. Nathan Loverboy Wade is back in the news. Fannie Willis's paramour, or current paramour, former paramour. I don't know what those two are to each other. But Nathan Wade is back in the news. You want to know why? He's gone missing. Well, now, Patty, by the way, good afternoon, but good point. Somebody sent innocent people to jail. Oh, there you go. Nathan Wade has gone missing. That's right. There is apparently a federal manhunt on for this guy. No one can find him. But the circumstances behind perhaps why he disappeared is even more mysterious. Yeah, well, if we can't use Let's Get It On by Marvin Gaye, Going to a Go-Go would be a great song. And yeah, here's why he gone missing. Did he turn himself in? Okay, well then I'm wrong about this. Okay, now this story's from a couple of days ago. So he was served on Friday. Well, prior to that, now see, this is why I've got the best audience on the internet. They're already ahead of me here. Oh, Nathan turned himself in, but he was missing for a while. And let me pull up the story here real quick. This is from a couple of days ago. So yeah, this has changed since then. So my apologies for you guys. Oh, no, you don't have to apologize. No apologies necessary, dear. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Nathan Wade. Major manhunt underway by U.S. Marshals for Nathan Wade, Fannie Willis's lover boy and former Fulton County lead investigator in the Trump lawfare case. Major manhunt was, I'll change this around slightly, was underway by U.S. Marshals for Nathan Wade, the former Fulton County investigator, and Fannie Willis's lover. See, House Judiciary Committee needs Wade to testify at a hearing tomorrow on their love affair, but no one can find the guy. They're trying to serve him, but he's flown the coop. Now the U.S. Marshals are on a manhunt. So yeah, he was had gone missing, and now he has been served. So, man, the lengths that these Democrats will go to, it is just remarkable. And I tell you what, and it's been a while since I've taken a deep dive into Fannie Willis and what's going on down in Atlanta. But oh, well, so yeah, true too. Yeah, it's been a little while since I've done a deep dive on old Nathan and Fannie, but yeah, man, there's an interesting pair. Now, we've sort of been talking about kids this morning, and I've got a clip here that I don't really know quite what to make of this one. I said that kids are a reflection of their parents. Well, that being the case, this next one is a trend that I find very disturbing, but I'm not necessarily surprised by it either. Do me a favor and check this out and tell me what you think.
The study found that Republican-leaning kids were more open to visiting a Democrat-supporting household. The Democrat-leaning kids were about 5 times more likely to say they would not want to go to a pro-Trump house.
Now, did you guys catch that? This study that was done, and I'm not sure who did it, CNN ran this clip. Kids raised in a, quote, supposedly, and I'm going to use their word, pro-Trump house, were more inclined to go to their friend's house, even if the parents weren't necessarily, quote, pro-Trump. On the other hand, kids from houses that aren't pro-Trump were 11 times more likely not to go to a friend's house if the parents are like, pro-Trump. I want to play this again. You got to hear this. I mean, I heard this and it just kind of blew my mind. But then again, I'm not necessarily surprised. Listen to this.
The study found that Republican-leaning kids were more open to visiting a Democrat-supporting household.
Okay, so kids from a Republican-leaning household are more open to visiting someone who's not. Okay.
The Democrat-leaning kids were about 5 times more likely to say they would not want to go to a pro-Trump house.
Wow. 5 times more likely not to want to go to a pro. Okay, well, let's finish this.
Would they be okay with you going over to somebody's house who is really supportive of President Trump?
No.
No? And why not?
Because they know that he's not like black people, so they will not be happy to see me.
Wow. I'm backing that up just so you can hear that again. That's just sad. Listen to this.
House.
Would they be okay with you going over to somebody's house who is really supportive of President Trump?
So would your parents be okay with you going over to a house of somebody who's really supportive of President Trump? That's what they're asking. Okay. Now listen to what this poor kid says.
No.
No. And why not?
Because they know that he's not like black people, so he.
My God, are you hearing what this kid is saying? Yeah, my parents wouldn't want me going over there because they know that my parents know that Trump doesn't like black people. Wow. Anyway, let's play the rest of this.
They will not be happy to see me.
Would your family let you go?
And the other part, that the other parents wouldn't be happy to see me. Oh my God. Anyway, let's go on.
Over to somebody's house who's really supportive of Donald Trump?
No.
No, they wouldn't.
No.
And why not?
Because like my mom and dad don't like Donald Trump at all. Not a single bit.
Would you be okay going over to somebody's house whose family really likes Kamala Harris?
I think it'd be fine. It's just about the personality of the people.
The study found that Republican-leaning kids were...
Wow. Let me get you guys' comments on some of this. Oh yeah. What? Yeah. Oh yeah. 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 We didn't know nobody knew what the parents' politics were because you didn't talk about it. Yeah. Oh yeah. Dumb isn't contagious, but freedom is. Very, very true. Wow. Oh, yeah. Yeah. What CNN fails to say is that a Dem house is 100% more likely to get their news from CNN. So don't just blame the parents. The mainstream media is filling 50% of the country with toxic programming. That's a good point, Ruben. That's a really good point. Really good point. Oh, it's absolutely insane. Trump is blacker than Kamala. The brothers seem to think so. The brothers definitely seem to think so. Just saying. And more Indian than... Good one, Gypsy. Good one, dear. Let's see. What's this? Trump say black colleges then help blacks more than... Yeah. Establishment stream media. That's not a bad name for it. And this is really good. They love to say that hate is taught. Well, they're correct. They teach it. Absolutely. That is so true. So true. My goodness. All right, what else have we got in HodgePodge too? Okay, I got a couple of more things here. By the way, did you guys hear? I mean, I asked the question a few minutes ago. How fake is Kamala Harris? Apparently, very much so. As a matter of fact, not only is she fake, but it turns out that her campaign got caught doing something very, very fake. Now, you might have seen these two individuals I'm about to pop up on the screen here. They were featured in an ad for Kamala Harris. Well, would you believe that that there's a backstory to all this? Check this one out.
Now, Kamala Harris and Tim Walz have been accused of deliberate misinformation. They've released a political ad that claims to depict two former Trump voters who live in Pennsylvania and who have switched to Team Kamala after the horrors of January 6th. But this pair of farmers shown in the ad appear to, in fact, be two actors, Robert Lang and Christina Chadwick, and they have an extensive history of donating to the Democrats and leftist causes dating back to at least 2016. For a party that talks endlessly about the dangers of disinformation and misinformation, they engage in plenty of it.
Yeah, so this is great investigative journalism by the journalists that went and found that out. I think it's another illustration of just what is a very synthetic campaign and a very synthetic candidate, where everything is manufactured, from her anointment after Biden was pushed out to just the way the campaign is being run and very limited media, as we just discussed, and then creating sort of these narratives, or almost fictional narratives, of these two Trump supporters who turned, supposedly in this case, and it turns out they're Democrat actors. You can't make this stuff up, and it's pretty brazen. But the question, of course, is will these antics make it into the mainstream or not, with a media that's very favorable to her? But to the extent that it does, I do think things like this are damaging, because it just goes to that point that she's not a very authentic candidate.
Like I said, folks, very, very fake. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, two former Trump voters from Pennsylvania. Yeah, they're not Trump voters, they're Democrat actors. Jeez, this woman, I tell you what. I got one here. And this one is, I'm going to give I don't know how I call it, parental warning. But you wonder the lengths that some people are willing to go to try to cover up things that may or may not be going on in our election process. I think Gypsy was the one that forwarded this over to me, and I'm pretty sure I'm right about that. What I'm going to show you here is a meeting of the Palm Beach County Supervisor of Elections Office. And a lady was removed simply because she asked a question. So like I say, there's nothing really violent here, but it is a little bit disturbing, so I will give that warning. So, yeah, just for asking questions, watch what happens to you.
You're about to get removed. She's answering, the floor is not yours. If you want more, you're after the election.
I've been trying to ask the same question since 2022. They're two totally different types of paper.
Stephanie, I'm sorry. She's going to be removed, and she'll be removed for 3 days of the election. I give you the whole next hand.
Serious?
Yes.
Serious. You know what?
Mary,
First Amendment right, you're allowed to say. You're still not addressing the different.
Now, look at these two dweebs. Look at it. Oh, my God. YouTube beta cuck males. Anyway, let us continue with this.
Take your hands off of me. Take your hands off of me.
Man, you know you're wrong, man. You know she has the First Amendment right to be here.
Oh my goodness! Oh my goodness! Oh my goodness! Oh my goodness! The way you're bending my arm, that is really horrible. What? It's really.
Hey, can you guys name and badge numbers?
All I want to know is about the two different styles of paper and how is there a paper trail. Please get your hands off of me. Please get your fingers off. You know what? My bag. Since 2022, I've been trying to get an answer about this. I am a taxpayer here in Palm Beach County, and I am sick and tired of this game that's being played. This is really horrible. This is really horrible.
What did you have back there?
Please get off.
Did you have a purse?
I'd like to.
No, man, we got
You know what? If I get bruised.
Yeah, stop. You are not leaving with the badge.
Take everything off. This is really horrible. Please take your hands off of me. I want to get my stuff. I want to get my stuff. This is really, truly disgusting. Okay. This is disgusting. I am a taxpayer here in Palm Beach County, and I am trying to ask a simple question about the two different styles of paper that are being used. This is really.
You are no longer welcome here.
Oh my goodness! You know what? I
have a purse.
You know what? I have a purse.
Let me grab that for
you.
you.
I have a phone.
Excuse me.
Your tax dollars at work, folks. You're no longer welcome here. She's paying for the salaries of the people who are walking her out from the sheriff's office. The sheriff's office personnel are walking her out. No. I'm looking at WWG1. I'm looking at the patch on this guy's shirt, and you can see it plain as day. He's sheriff's office. They had the sheriff's office walk this lady out. Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Tyrants. Okay, but granted. But all right, I'll grant you that one. But honestly, let me ask you this question. In all fairness, hey, Midmo. In all fairness, was that justified? Was that really justified? And yeah, the guy who did the pirouette, he ought to be in a pink tutu. Yeah, just mind-boggling. Absolutely mind-boggling. Oh, and lest you think that the Biden administration is totally giving up on this election, here's one more for you. DOJ sues Alabama over attempt to remove non-citizens from the voter roll. Article by Paul Bond. The U.S. Department of Justice said Friday it is suing Alabama for trying to remove non-citizens from its voting list, arguing the effort comes too close to the presidential election in November. According to the Washington Times, the DOJ asked a federal judge to order Alabama to put the names of the presumed ineligible voters back on their voter roll, in part because it claims that some actual citizens were told they had been moved to an inactive voter file. DOJ's argument also boils down to timing, since Alabama announced its intentions 84 days before the election, which might violate the federal National Voter Registration Act, prohibits the deletion of the names from election lists within 90 days. Assistant Attorney General Kristen Clark said a lawsuit should be viewed as a warning to other states, adding, it is critical that Alabama redress voter confusion. Excuse me. They're trying to remove non-citizens. Why should the 90-day limit even come into play? They're non-citizens. They shouldn't even be voting in the first place. It shouldn't matter whether it's 90 days or 9 days or 9 hours. They're not voting. If Alabama feels that these individuals, and they can prove that they're non-citizens, off the voter rolls they ought to go. Oh, TBS says, this crap going on in Alabama really pisses me off. Exactly. Oh, I don't blame you a bit. Matter of fact, for anybody who hasn't heard about this story, I will drop this on the Rumble side and over on YouTube. You guys take a look at it at your convenience. There you go. Unbelievable. Wow. So yeah, folks, we got about less than 40 days and an absolute dogfight ahead of us. So there you go. All right. With that, it's about 10 minutes after 1. You guys have got a life and I've got a life. Well, you got more of a life than I do. So let's bring this train into the station. I want to thank you guys ever so much for being here for Front Porch Brunch. This has been an absolute blast. The memes, the laughs, the comments, everything. You guys are totally awesome. You guys have a great weekend and have fun, enjoy some football, spend some time with your family, go out and touch grass and all that stuff that helps keep us sane. In the meanwhile, I will be back this Monday night, 7:30 Eastern, for Chatting on the Porch, and we will be live streaming the vice presidential debate on Tuesday. And with that, you guys have an absolutely great weekend. I love you guys so much. We'll see you Monday night at 7:30. And remember the words of that great American philosopher, Tom T. Hall, when he said, it's faster horses, younger lovers, older whiskey, and more money. Oh, Patty, thank you. Thank you, dear. You did not have to do that. That's very sweet of you. Hit the like button. Hit the like button. So yes, love you guys. We will see you Monday night, 7:30 Eastern. Have a great weekend.